Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing about an interesting tool called Cursor. We'll divide these entire discussions into three sections. We'll know what is Cursor, and then we'll quickly go to the tool to get an overview of the tool, and finally we'll discuss about an applications that I have built using Cursor. Let's get started. So Cursor is a AI development tool built on VS Code. So the Cursor team has made a lot of AI features, but they kept the user interface similar to VS Code. Now let's see what Cursor says. So it's built to make you extraordinarily productive. What we will see during the demo, that whether it really makes extraordinarily productive or not. Cursor is best way to code with AI. Now there are a lot of organizations that trust or use cursors on their daily basis, that is Stripe, OpenAI, Linear, Datadog, etc. Now comes the features. Go to the features. If you see, it says the best way to build software, and it's available for Mac, it's available for Windows, it's available for Linux. So as I'm using Mac, it is showing its download for Mac. You can quite easily download it for Mac and get started. Now it has few features like agent. So what agent does, you can constantly chat with the agent and it will help you during the coding. Now Cursor understands the entire code base. It indexes the entire code base. Based on that, it generates the contexts. So whatever the response you get or suggestions you get, that is based on the context that is there in the code. It's most of the cases not so irrelevant. So it has top model access, like it gives access to GPT-5, Gemini 2.5 Pro, Claude Sonnet, Claude Opus, and Grok Code. And it has scope changes. It's make targeted edits to run terminal commands with natural languages. Now it has few features like called tab completions. Like when you are writing the code, simultaneously it will suggest what will be the next step. You can simply click on tab and you are done. Next is multi-line edits, comes like this, where when you write something, then it will suggest you different multi-line versions. Then you can simply add tab and accept that. Then smart rewrite option is there. Type naturally and Cursor will finish your thought. So you keep on typing, it will finish the code. Then simply by tap, you just write something, Cursor will generate, and next step also Cursor will suggest you click. If things are looking good, then you just accept, like clicking tab, and it will write the entire code. So these are the things are available in Cursor on a high level. Now let's go to the enterprise. So as I told you, a lot of enterprises uses Cursor in the daily basis. And next is the pricing. So Cursor is not free. It's available for trial for 2 weeks because it connects with the different models, and models are not available for free. So Cursor charges some amount. So for just trying out, it gives 2 weeks trial, but with the limited agent requests and limited talk completions. But I found it quite helpful to try it out. So we can try most of the things. It's not so much limited. Now we want a Pro versions that costs around $20 per month. So where we get extended limits on agents, unlimited tag completions, background agents, maximum context windows. And there is a Pro version that takes $60 per month. And there is another version called Ultra versions, where mostly there is no limit, 20x users on OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini models, and priority access to the new features. And there is another one that is available on the business plans, that is for a team, that is $40 per user per month, and this is for Pro Plus. So for individual users, it costs around $60 per month, but for the teams, it is available at $40 per month per user, and it is also available for customizations for enterprises for their separate needs. And here is the resources where we get docs to get started on the Cursor. So how to use Cursor and what are the different features available, you can get quite easily. And for the quick start, you can just go here and check that it will ask you to create a clone of a particular GitHub repository, and then it will take you through the different steps of creating that code or optimizing the code. Now let's go to the Cursor. Cursor overall looks like, so it as if you have used VS Code, it looks very similar to VS Code. So left panel where you get the file and directories, and in the middle portions where actually the developer's code. Now in the below section where you can get the output, you can debug, you can get the terminals, very similar to VS Code. And the right section, this section is actually interesting, where we get the help from the Cursor, where the agent runs, and where we can get constant help from the Cursor. Here is the search tab where we can search almost on anything. Now we have seen how the Cursor looks like. Now let's see some important features that we get in the Cursor. Now when you click in this settings section, here is the general settings, and in the general settings we get the general cursor settings, where we can do the editor settings, like we can open the editor settings and we can check the appearance, and in the appearance we can change the themes. And next is the chat, and there are some default mode where you can select whether agent will be doing the chat or you need to ask it, and what will be the default locations. All these settings will be available here. Now coming to the important one, which is specific to cursor, that is tab. Here are few features that you can enable or disable, like cursor tab, that is context aware multi-line suggestions around your cursor based on the recent edits. So whenever you are typing, it will constantly prompt you to what will be the next steps. You can simply tap and accept that. Now partial accepts the next word of the suggestion via command and right arrow, and that is by default not enabled, so it's disabled. And suggestions while commenting allows tab to trigger while in a comment region, so it will allow you to or generate code when you are in a comment region. Now, white space only suggestion suggests edit like new lines and indentations that modify white space only. So by default, it is disabled. Imports automatically import necessary modules for TypeScript, that is by default enabled. And auto import for Python, enable auto import for Python. This is in beta feature. It is by default enabled, but I will suggest you to keep it enabled. Now there are models. So what are models by default are active? So Claude 4 Sonnet is by default active. Claude 4 Sonnet 1 million is by default active, and GPT-5 Gemini 2.5 Flash is by default active. The rest of them are not active, but you can enable them at any time. Okay, when you select this model, so this agent will be using here in the right hand section, agent will be using those models in order to get the response. So it determines which model is the best for that particular response, or for getting the particular response. Based on that, it invokes that particular model. Now comes the background agents. Now in the background agents, we can configure some background agents which will run constantly. Then comes the MCP integrations. Oh, you all heard about MCP. So we can integrate any kind of MCPs that are available. And here in the new MCP server, you can see that is two MCPs I have already configured. That is GitHub and OpenGen's MCP. So similar to that, you can add one more MCP server configurations here, and then it will get enabled. So you can see it here. For me, GitHub is enabled. So what it helps is like, so I can create pull requests, I can create commit code, push the code, I can check what all the repositories are there. All these different things we can do simply by asking it in natural languages. Comes the rules and memories. So we create some user rules to manage the custom user rules and preferences here, and there are some kind of project rules that can be defined, and then indexing and docs. So whenever you create or open a new project, cursor starts indexing. So indexing is required because whenever you ask something to cursor, then cursor will give you a suggestion, and the suggestion is based on the context, right? In order to make that particular suggestions quicker, so cursor always indexes the current project. So that's a quick overview of what all things we can do in the cursor. Now let's see what all things are there in cursor while we are doing editing. So I can write something like here, I can write text. Look, it's automatically giving me suggestion like text dot replace new lines with the empty. Now if I simply click on tab, it will add that. Cursor is continuously helping me generating the code. If I want to optimize that particular module or particular function, then I can just on quick edit ask to optimize. Now you see it optimized and it written everything in a single line. Yeah, I can select on keep, and you see it kept everything in a single line. It optimized the code. Nice, right? If we want to get a context from that particular code, then what we can do is like, you can simply select here, and then I can click here like add to chat, and it will get added here. So these will be used as a context, and we can ask any question, and check the file, right? So we can ask any questions here. So this is some code I have written with the help of the cursor in order to match resume with the job description, to check what is the percentage our resume matches with a particular job description. And it took me around 1 hour with a decent UI and with all the required functionalities. I created that particular app, and let's see, this is a resume to job description matcher, and here we can browse a resume. Here I just browsed my resume. I have kept a job description ready, so it's a go skill job description, and I'll simply click on evaluate match. and you see the similarity score is only 2%, okay, 0.02. And here, and it created a very nice UI, and it says that it does not match. If it is more than 60% match, then it says it's a very good match, extraordinary match. If it is a less than 40% match, it says like not matching or does not match. It is 40 to 60%, it says it's a good match. Now I am also trying to create where I am kind of tailoring the resume to reach 60%. So based on the current job description and based on my resume, without changing the content of the resume, tailor the resume so that it matches the job descriptions to more than 60%. So this is what in progress. I have not created it yet. This is what we can do using cursors in a very quickly. So to my final review, I think cursor is definitely amazing tool. It reduces development time drastically. But one more thing to remember, that gathering the requirement, analyzing the requirement, those all things is still with the developers only. So their cursor might not help. But when it comes to development, which used to take few days, it can complete in few hours with the help of the cursors. So I'm using in my personal use and in the office use, I'm using cursor. I felt it's really amazing tool and it really helps. I hope you liked my video. If you liked session, please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching.